Oh no, the music's not playing. Woo!
Hey, you're hearing technical glitches on a Wednesday day.
Yeah.
Wednesday show. What?
What the?
Wow, right out the bat, we got some antagonizers in the chat here.
Oh yeah, what are they saying?
James Medford just says, "Oh great, this again." Yeah.
That's what I said when I sat down.
Yeah, no, we're doing it again. For those watching who know us, who regularly watch our show, you might have seen on Monday we had some internet issues. We've had some ongoing upload issues.
We'll call them what they are. F-ups. We've had some internet F-ups recently, and it's not cool. It's not fun. It sucks.
Yeah, nobody likes an F-up, man. Nobody likes an internet F-up. It really it complicated everything. It made things difficult for our guests to promote their shit. We hate it. We hate when this happens.
And I forgot we were doing it today, and I forgot to shave my neck. And that was something I thought about doing before I was on camera again.
Man,
but look at me now. Disgusting.
Let me see your profile. I really don't think it's
not showing up in the camera. Did I just out myself as a hairy-necked man?
You just doxed yourself as a hairy-necked man.
Well, at least people know what I'm itching at instead of thinking I've been smoking crack the last 3 days.
Hey, if y'all tuned in on Monday, you saw a quite extensive conversation about candy corn. And we said that we were going to film a taste test, but that was before we thought we'd have to do a show on Wednesday, so we didn't do it.
I was about to say, like, why are you calling us out on our own shit?
I'm just preemptively cutting off some of our more antagonistic chatters.
Let's start off with a few bits we didn't do.
Look, this is where I normally ask, how's your freaking week been? Oh, by the way, welcome to another episode of Effin Rager. I'm Connor Clifton, joined by my always lovely co-host, Ned Gale. Ned, how the heck are you?
What up? There I am. I'm doing great. I just got a text message from the Harris County's clerk office. They're inviting me to vote early. I already did. I'll let them know.
What? I got the same text message.
You got it too? Maybe they're watching the show. They're trying to distract us.
I got one yesterday, or I got one today and earlier this week.
Nice.
They're really on me, but I already voted. I have my sticker somewhere around here.
I feel like they're texting me pretty late at night for early voting. Am I right, guys? Yeah!
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking they're trying to get us to vote, early and often. Like he's repeatedly be like, "Hey, why don't you go vote again?
Just
man?
maybe why don't you put a couple more in there for us?"
Like he's just an acting county clerk. He didn't,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So he's not really running for re-election. He's going in and he's like, "I got nothing to lose."
he just texts like, "Don't forget about early voting. Do it as many times as you want. Go ape shit." Like, okay.
I don't know. I would ask how your freaking week's been, but it's only been a couple days. Anything happen?
How has my week been?
Oh wait, actually, you did something yesterday.
Did I?
That you put out today.
Oh right. Hey guys, I'll save the plugs for the end, right?
Well, don't plug it. Just tell everyone what you did.
Okay. There's a new podcast. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yesterday, Connor, in front of the show, Cody and I watched Bill and Ted 3, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Oh, yeah.
So many people said this movie was going to be incredible. They gave us such high expectations coming into it, and guys, it fucking delivered.
It lives up to the hype. It's very, very good.
It fucking rules.
I guess I was more focused on. I forgot that you didn't actually record the podcast yesterday, but you recorded a podcast with Cody.
But I was gonna say we watched the movie and we were so amped up that we recorded some music after the movie.
Yeah.
2 new jingles, new theme songs to be put in the brand new episode of Honey, I Shrunk the Binge. Is this a plug now? If I say that dropped today?
Oh, yeah.
That dropped today.
Oh, man.
Did it.
I got to bust you. All right. We said we'd go to the 805, and then we'd play a video and bring on our guest.
It's 8:04. You want to fuck around?
Yeah, what's up?
How's it going? Good. Oh, God, it's so fucking loud. All right. Hey, it's good. I like it. Let's do
This one. Hello.
That's the sound that you get for if you're doing Barracuda. Like we just hit 805.
All right.
Keep the song going.
Oh.
Keep the song going. Quick. We'll be right back.
I give my dad shit, but he's a good dad. He every year he makes sure that we do a family vacation. He makes sure that we all get together and we do this family vacation. Last year, it was me and my 3 other siblings, and we went camping in Moab, Utah in August. You guys know where Moab, Utah is? It's the middle of the fucking desert. We went to the desert in August because I don't think my dad knows how the earth works. I don't know. So the 4 of us had to share a tent together, right? And we're all sitting there trying to figure out how we can keep ourselves cool, because it does eventually cool off at night, but not until like 3 a.m. And so what the camp does is they give you these little misters that come down. They try and keep the tent cool, and they turn off at 10 p.m. And then you just have to figure out how to stay cool. And so they give you a wet washcloth and a little mini fan to just kind of hopefully quell the next 5 hours of unimaginable heat. And so we're all trying to figure it out. And my brother, the wildlife scientist, Charlie, he was like, if we circumvent the fans. And we were like, you know what, Charlie, honestly, the best part of this vacation was when you weren't on it. Like, oh, like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We're not doing that. My sister, Maddie, she's so good at dealing with stress. She just laid into the bed, melting into it. Just every once in a while, you just hear her whisper, this could have been the Bahamas. Like, she really handled it. She handled it well. She did a good job. So then it gets down to me, and I'm thinking, like, I could probably figure this out. I'm a pretty smart guy. So I take the wet washcloth, and I put it on my stomach, and then I'm like, well, yeah, but if I'm on my back, I might snore, and I don't want to wake my siblings up. So I go on the side, and I have the fan down there, and I'm like, yeah, but if I'm on the side, I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to have to keep moving this all night. And as I'm trying to figure that out, all of a sudden I start hearing snoring, and I look over, and Kevin is face down. He is completely naked. He has the wet washcloth on his lower back, and then he has the fan propped between his legs, and it's blowing straight across his asshole. And he slept for 9 straight hours. I can't tell if he is the smartest or the dumbest. I really...
And we're back. Hey everyone, that was the video that we tried playing Monday, which was a bit of an animated short based on a bit that was, man, fucking Wednesday, dude. I just don't have it in me right now.
Just introduce him for the love of God.
You know
put
him, you love him. He's been on the show. This is his technically 4th time now. We welcome Will Abel. Hey, Will. Thanks for coming back. We really, really appreciate you coming back in the middle of the week.
4 Timers Club, my man.
Hey, it's longer than most of my relationships, so I'm happy to be here.
So, in the past 2 days, any new developments? Anything crazy happen?
Well, I'm actually in Knoxville right now. When I talked to you guys on Monday, I was in Hagerstown.
Holy
So
shit, you're on the move.
There was on the move. So yeah, I'm in Knoxville for a couple days because I released the album on Friday, and my parents and we're just at the point where I needed a little bit of isolation, and they needed me to not in the house anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I'm in Knoxville for a couple days, then I head to Memphis for a gig. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
And then on Friday, you're picking up the physical album so you can distribute it to the internet, I'm assuming. That's what this road trip is about.
It's all digital. It's all digital.
So when
yeah, no, I decided not to do CDs.
Since you're in Knoxville, you said tonight?
Oh no, now his
Yeah, but I'm not
internet-
performing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you were like doing a gig there or anything. So how does it feel being back on the road after what is happening?
Well, I don't know. It might be delayed.
I think you're getting a little bit of delay.
Which would just be Here, let me get a notepad and I'll just write what I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds
and then I'll
good.
hold it up.
All right, Will, how does it feel to be back on the road?
So I'm only semi back on the road. So I'm in Knoxville just to work on the album for the last couple days and just be isolated. And then I'm going to Memphis TV gig. I'm working on the Miss USA pageant in a bubble on Graceland. And then I'm going to Nashville, and then that's when I'm back on the road. So then I'll be in Nashville doing some shows, hopefully at Comedy Bar, talking to Comedy Bar. But it's even in 2020, getting a hold of a club and getting them to let you know what's going on is still this close to impossible. So
Yeah, even if they've
it.
cut down their shows by
it's
like
nice to feel
80%.
normal again.
All right, Will.
Yeah, and then yeah.
So my next question for you: you're performing at a Miss USA pageant.
Yeah.
How is your stand-up changed by performing at a pageant? And please answer in a complete sentence. And Ned, please hold off until Will is done. And should we do like an over and out thing?
Yeah, we'll say over when we're done.
Over.
Over.
Okay. Or just clap from now on.
Yeah.
I'm not performing at a Miss USA pageant. I used to work in TV production. A buddy of mine called me up and he said, "Hey, it's my first coordinating gig. Can I pull you out of retirement to come key PA for me?" And I said, "I don't know. What's the gig?" Like I had anything else going on, but he was like, I was like, "What's the gig?" And he was like, "It's the Miss USA pageant, and we're living on a bubble on Graceland." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that job."
That sounds great. Can you talk?
He didn't clap yet, Connor.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I believe on one of the earlier episodes we've had you on, you've talked about working in TV production. Are you excited to go back into it and see what it is like now that we are living in a pandemic world? Over. Clap.
Yeah, I'm actually excited. Like, I liked working in live television. I didn't like working in single cam and that kind of stuff. So I was excited for it to be that. Also, yeah, I'm very intrigued on what it's going to be like. Like, we had a meeting today over the phone, and because I'm a key PA, so like I'm gonna just be doing grunt work, or normally I would be doing grunt work for the most part. But they were basically like, no, we don't touch anything. Like, you don't leave your desk. And I was like, so what am I doing? Like, so I have no idea what to expect, but it sounds like everything's compartmentalized, and it's just like maybe some extra departments to just be like, okay, we don't have to cross paths. But I have no idea. All I know is I'm in a hotel 8 minutes away. And once I get to the hotel, I do not leave the hotel. So that is going to be my Memphis experience.
Great. So yeah.
God damn it.
I would like to pivot now to speak about your album. It is called The Pride of Hagerstown. And this is not we got it right here. The Tall Tales and Tragic Truth of Will Abeles. And you recorded it on Zoom, which we talked Monday briefly about what that experience was like, hearing the audience laughing on Zoom. Quite different. But I do want to follow up on how you said that it's pretty easy and you get used to it pretty quick. So can you please expand upon how comfortable you feel doing comedy on Zoom moving forward?
Basically, you just got to get used to the Neds of the world that just step on everything you say. The hard stop. No. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think it's like we all just went through this time period of having to do Zoom shows. And now we've gotten to do some live shows, but they're outdoors. I mean, some people have gotten to do indoor shows, but like no matter even if they're indoor or outdoor, they're just not the same shows we were doing in January, you know? So I think this time around doing Zoom, I think people are gonna be less reluctant. in a weird way, the audience is going to be better trained. Where like that, I think that was the problem early on was like everyone just was like just so happy to see somebody, whether it was for for like a show or whatever. So everyone just talked. They didn't know how to really just be an audience. They just wanted to like hang out and just be like, please God, like I haven't seen a new face in so long. So I think I don't think Zoom comedy will be around forever. But that was one of the reasons I did the album on Zoom in May instead of waiting, was because I wanted it to be a timestamp. I wanted it to be something where you can look back and you kind of hear the laughter, the Zoom laughter, and you're like, oh yeah, that was 2020.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on it.
Yeah, that's.
I really like that perspective.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, you were no stranger to online shows. You had that weekly showcase going on with your family as the audience, which I was lucky enough to do. It was a fantastic experience. Yeah, like I don't know. It's weird seeing different ways people have trained as you said, trained the audience, different ways to incorporate the audience into it. And I think that Zoom party thing works. Like I didn't think it would, but it rules.
If you can, I mean, at least as a comedian, because there is something that's like a little heartbreaking about doing it. But if you as a comedian can just kind of say to yourself, okay, this is what it is. This is my only option. The other option is like just doing nothing but TikTok or starting the 20 millionth podcast, and if like those mediums work for you, do it. Like I'm like, honestly, I got into TikTok and now I'm like obsessed with it, but I'd rather be doing stand up.
I was about to say, I logged onto my Instagram one day and went to the Discover page, and you were the front page of my reels. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're doing quite well,
Yeah, you're doing
man.
all right for yourself.
You put out more content than nearly everyone on my feed.
Well, I there was a day like, I don't know, because I was very against it, and I was living with my 19-year-old brother and 21-year-old sister, so they were on TikTok constantly. So I had been viewing it a lot, but I just didn't quite get it, right? I was like, this is just hyper. Like, to me, it was just hyper. And then I got very busy with the album, and I was like, that's the only thing I'm going to focus on is the album. And then the album ended, and then it became the editing phase. So it was like, edit for 2 days, send it to the editor, he gets back to me in a week, and then I just had time to kill. So I was going through some of the jokes, and I'm like, some of these are 15-second bits that might translate to little sketches, and then the more I watched it, the more I picked up on how the creators take us, like there's a song that'll become popular and 10 million people make a video to that song. But then I started noticing how they weren't the same video every time, that you had your own creative take on the song. Like, so I got into that where there was this one where I kept seeing like a lot of women would do this. I did one to the song, but a lot of women would get on, and it would be about like how you said you wanted to have friends with benefits, and then it like cuts to something, and they're like, and now we're married 6 years with 2 kids, And so I just was like, oh, I'm gonna do something with that about how how it's October and I'm living above my parents. Living above my parents, and I just called my sister's bedroom my apartment. So I just had to learn how to do the medium, and then it became fun. Now, like I actually look forward to it, and I write some ideas down for it. And when I have the time, I put in like an hour, and I don't get anything on TikTok, but on Reels they have a much more forgiving algorithm, so you just feel a little bit better about yourself.
I think Reels is for the adults. That's we're not allowed to touch TikTok. We're too old for that.
Yeah, TikTok is a young man's game.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with TikTok. I've been very clear about like I just don't like it very much. I miss Vine. Did you ever do anything on Vine?
I did one thing on Vine once, and I was like, this is beyond me. I think that's why I was so hesitant to get on TikTok, because I'm not technically gifted. Like yes, the album was on Zoom, but there were a lot of other people helping me, and they were the ones like editing it and helping me like record it. And I had a friend came in, and he like sat on a couple of the trial runs and like perfected everything that I wasn't doing. So like technology is beyond me. So Vine ruined TikTok for me for a little while until my 19-year-old brother showed me how TikTok worked, and I was like, well, if he can figure this out, I'm this idiot. Like, I got it.
Wow. I'm just really blown away and thinking about just how within the past 10 years online digital comedy has just really changed so much to the point where Instagram is just now officially ripping off TikTok and Vine, and TikTok in a way is a ripoff of Vine. And now you're recording an album on Zoom. Quibi has already come and gone, but what do you think the future of online comedy will look like?
Well, I don't know. So I will say I don't know if it's even a negative. I think it's just because of the medium. But, I was thinking of, I forget if it was Vulture or Variety, but they put out there like 20 comics to watch or whatever the thing is. And Sarah Cooper was on there. And this was like last week or like 2 weeks ago. And I saw Sarah Cooper and I was like, oh my God, I forgot about Sarah Cooper. She was like the hottest thing on the planet. And that was only 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the one problem with the shelf life of some of the content on TikTok is because it's hyper and it appeals to the ADHD, which that's like 3 generations in a row. I think it's like something that only works for about a month, maybe 2 months. And like, if you blow up, great. You got in there, you got the career. But if you don't, you got to just be constantly moving on. And I do notice that the stand-up bits, though, like the actual videos of stand-up, those get a lot of views, and including my own, that got like the most views I had on it. So I don't think it's that people are losing interest in stand-up, which is good to see.
Yeah.
But I just think comedy in general, I think, is getting more hyper, and you just got to be creating constantly and just keeping up with trends, and I think might become more exhausting in a way. But at the same time, I think, and this was already happening in stand-up, is road comedy and club comedy and Brooklyn bar show comedy they're all different, they're all different things,
yeah.
right? So this is slowly becoming its own thing where it's like road comedy becomes its own genre entirely. And then you have TikTok comedy where you just fire out 1-minute jokes all the time.
Quibbies.
And then maybe you do some sketch stuff, Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's just like comedy's just going to keep branching out and branching out and branching out. And, ultimately the TikTokers will make more money for some goddamn reason. But, that's just how it's going to work.
Man.
Ideally, we're part of a streaming service like Spotify where we get paid like 0.00003 cents every time we make a joke, like ever. And we're just pulling in those penny slivers.
Well, we need to give in to Elon Musk just putting laugh receptor chips in our brain, and then we'll all get cashed out, man. We need to stop resisting him so much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of getting my Bandcamp not my Bandcamp updates, my CD Baby updates from my album from 3 years ago, and then every 6 months they're like, you just got $30 from iTunes, Spotify, and Pandora combined, and you're like, hell yeah.
Now, you mentioned your last album. Did you edit that one as well?
Yeah, so that one, again, I said this, I was on a podcast recently and I said this, and that one, we got a little overzealous, and my friend was trying to record it while also recording the audio. So does not realize that when I got on stage, the audio turned off. And that was the second time I recorded it, and I was like, I can't do this a third time. Like, I just don't have the draw to fill this room a third time. So, and also, like, it was repeat people. So it's like, my friends are like, yeah, we know the jokes. Like, they're yelling punchlines, So I happened to have it on my iPhone. It was recorded on my iPhone. And me and the audio engineer sat down, and we were like, this isn't the worst. I mean, we can do this, and you have a gimmick you can plug. And so the first audio engineer did it. It was fine. I mostly just sat there. We didn't tighten it up as much as we probably should have. And then I sent it to a friend's boyfriend who has since won an Emmy for his audio work. So he made it like, it was one of those things where I wish people had heard it the first round and then heard that, because when I had friends being like, I don't know, man, it's a little hard to hear. I'm like, you have no idea what what kind of a turd this dude just polished into a diamond, you know, like. So that was So that was also uh, uh, um, another technology-driven album. But no, I didn't have to do too much editing on that one. That was mostly the audio engineer.
So the reason I asked this is that I wanted to know, compared to the first album, how has the editing process been different now that you're doing it as a Zoom format?
Oh, well, I know Zoom took much longer. um, yeah, Zoom took a lot longer because first I walked away from it entirely after I finished recording because it was some personal material. I've been building it for 2 years. You know, I was with you guys. I announced that I'm gonna record the album. I'm all hyped about it. I had a plan. Like, you know, the road is filled up until that date. I'm gonna have enough time to like perfect it. Everything. Country gets shut down. I don't know if it's ever gonna open back up. You know, it was. And then I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and do this so I can move on from this material entirely. And then just Zoom was so difficult because of how much extra effort you had to put in. It wasn't like you didn't have as much of the energy from the audience to feed off of. So everything I had to put in there, I had to kind of generate myself, plus the pacing, which we talked about last time, and just like figuring out that. So editing this, like, yeah, I walked away for like 3 weeks, listened to it, and then almost just deleted it.
Wow.
Because it was just this thing of like, God, Zoom. Like, I can't describe it any other way than that. So I like looked at it. I tried editing it myself a little bit, and then finally I just was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I have 3 different recordings of this, one being my personal audio, the other being the Zoom audio. Finally, I got in touch with a record label that my buddy started. The engineer half peeled off, and he was willing to like look at it for me. And then a couple weeks go by, he sends me an email, and he's like, "Hey, so I wanted to just like lay my clean audio over the best version of the recording, which is a little lazy, but I wanted to just for the best version of the recording, and then maybe if we could add like bump in some laughs from the second one, like or something like that." And he was like, "That's impossible. We can't do that." And so we had to like dissect everything, and I don't know the technical terms, but he basically just made it sound like everything was in the same room, and then he convinced me the second recording was the better one. I listened to both. We ended up going with the first one after I'd already edited a lot of the stuff in the second one. But then, yeah, it was cool because we were able to cut parts together. Like, it's funny because I can tell where I was nervous. So I said like a lot more when it was a newer joke, meaning it was only 6 to 7 months old as opposed to a year to 2 years old, you know? And so just cutting out little things like that. And because we weren't in a like a theater or a club or whatever, it picked up every time I took an inhale. It picked up every time I took a sip of my beer. Like, he would just be like, like just right into it. So this even if I was more involved in the first one, I know this was significantly more involved editing wise because we had to cut out so many things because we just didn't have the luxury of being in a club that would negate like these little things that don't get picked up on a regular recording.
Damn.
Plus Zoom.
Well, I just think I'm just really fascinated by like the future right now, and I'm leaning into this cyberpunk reality. I believe in hologram president 2024. I know it's coming, and I just think that like it's. So I've recently been talking to a friend about how would an open mic look on Zoom. How do you maintain something like that? And the closest we came to was talking about a show like Hell Pit up in San Antonio, which was this open mic. I think it was San Antonio, or was it Austin? It was an open mic where the performers had to pay to participate. They had to be there the whole time.
Yeah, we talked about this Monday.
Yeah, and they locked the door.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd have to be like, oh, you want to be on the Zoom open mic? All right, if you're an audience member, you can show up whenever. But if you're a performer, you got to stay the whole time. You got to like pack that room up. Because I don't know how to make it happen, man.
I actually did a few Zoom open mics, and I mean they were run like a regular mic, to be honest. There was a couple local ones, like a couple younger comics in Frederick were running it. And yeah, it was just, there were a couple audience members, of course, but 20, 25 comics doing a Zoom thing. One thing so I talked about how Hagerstown is like a growing scene, not a growing scene, but just like they're still building the scene. Like one of the problems that I see is when we do an open mic, they give everyone like 8 minutes, and and they do have like 20, 25 comic show, and it's just a thing that they don't know. So I was at a show recently, and someone said, "Hey, I'm starting a mic. What do you think about?"
Oh wait, hold on. Someone's calling the Effin Rager line.
Look at this.
Sorry about
see
that.
What this is, yeah. Hey, you're on live with Effin Rager. Yeah. Hey, you're on.
Oh, could you mute? Can you mute your computer?
You're gonna need headphones.
Or headphones?
something.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
This is chaos. All right, one sec. This person who called in, they're running to get headphones.
Keep talking.
I don't know
this,
if we've ever had a video call in before.
Let's see what happens. Make sure they know to clap though.
Yeah,
we'll make it very clear. Hello, sir. Do you have headphones yet?
I think they're grabbing them.
I think they're grabbing
I
headphones.
think they're like twiddling them around.
They're okay. Oh, they definitely plugged them in.
I'm kind of doing a dance with them. Okay.
Okay. Hey there.
Hey, can you hear us? You're here on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, first time, long time.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Do you have a question for our guest?
Yeah. Hey, why'd you put out an album the same time I put out my album?
Oh God, is it Sean?
It sure
No.
is.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, it's not.
Hey,
I'm
Will.
wearing my Woot Nanny shirt. All right, what more do you want from me?
You're both wearing
I got
your
my
Woot
Woot
Nanny
Nanny
shirt.
Yeah,
Oh.
why don't we can probably just get Sean up here.
Yeah,
as well.
Sean, we totally forgot that you released an album that's already out. It is called Hot Dog. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, and Bandcamp, right? And let's see here.
And it is also the pride of Hagerstown.
Oh yeah, we got the album cover right here. Surprisingly,
Everyone in Hagerstown has been talking about this album, Sean Connolly's Hot Dog. It's probably going to top the charts.
the screen's getting
Like,
pretty crowded.
Will's brother, Will's sister, Will's mom, Will's dad.
My
They
mom.
all been reaching out to me about my album.
I'm pretty sure my dad bought Sean's album and he hasn't bought mine yet.
He knows he can get a free copy.
God, yeah, yeah. But even that would be too much effort.
Oh, man, let me squeeze in here.
Yeah,
So,
squeeze in, Connor. We need to make sure everyone
yeah,
can fit here.
all four of us. Let's just hang out for a little bit here.
Yeah, let's just hang out for a bit. Put our Woot Nanny shirts on.
Now,
Oh
see,
my God, are you kidding me? Yeah.
I'm not.
I wore mine yesterday. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm realizing I might be wearing the same shirt I was wearing Monday.
You are. Yeah, I
You
wore
are,
mine
Ned.
Monday.
Continuity.
Oh man, it's so nice to have both of you beautiful boys here. It's such a fun thing. We've talked about it before, but like the four of us have all performed. We've shared a stage.
We have.
Up in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's so nice.
We don't have to bring that up.
Will, did you have a bad time or something?
I'm seeing a lot of people talking about ham hands in the chat.
Yeah, what's going on? What's ham hands? What is this thing?
Let's talk about the future of comedy. I was there the night it died.
Oh, whatever. You've been singing the praises of TikTok, but ham hands is where you draw the line.
Yeah, just wait till ham hands is on Reels.
No, you're getting a Netflix special, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
you
have
and Sarah Cooper are doing a collab, and you're gonna get a Netflix special.
I have a Quibi special coming out pretty soon. Fingers crossed it goes well.
It's Ham Hands, Sarah Cooper, and Chingo Bling.
Let me know when it's on CISO.
All right, so Sean, while we got you, can you tell us a little bit about your album? Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your album?
Yeah, it was recorded a year ago. at George's Coney Island Hot Dogs in Worcester, Massachusetts. It was in front of a live audience. It was not a Zoom album. It was before times, when we were all luckier and not desperate. And my album, there's a show I put on in Worcester called Hot Dog, where you spin a wheel and you don't know you're set till you spin the wheel. Will's done it before.
Is that true, Will? Can you confirm?
He had a blast doing it.
Yep.
Did you?
Good time.
Yeah.
That was my first tour with Alex Grubard.
Ooh. Yeah. And
So we kicked it off with,
so I didn't know the order of my set until I spun the wheel.
That's amazing.
That was my album.
Now, you recorded your album during the last Wootenanny Festival, correct?
Yes, where we all hung out, the four of us together. And I think you three were on a show together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Nick's bar. Was that the name of the bar we were at?
And Will had a great set, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah. That was probably the best set I've ever had in my entire life.
You were in great spirits when I saw you.
Yeah, you were.
Set's going well when you can hear the guy in the room next to you at the furthest end of the bar have his drink click.
Did you add more of those into your album, Will?
Oh, that's pretty much the whole album is. The whole album is just some guy in the back just.
That's what the long edit time was, adding like drink swishes.
So when people listen to it, they're like, "Oh yeah, this was 2020."
Oh my goodness! So we've got,
especially in Worcester. Worcester's gonna be like, "Oh, I've heard that. This sounds familiar. This is classic related."
That was the night I heard Ham Hands. We've got a question in the chat here. Will you guys play a track from the mashup album, The Hot Dog of Hagerstown?
Yes.
Would that be?
We should
spin a wheel
definitely
and
do
I
that.
Record a Zoom thing? Is that how that would work?
I guess so. Well,
Or you play Hot Dog on Zoom?
That we are doing.
Ooh.
We're hunkering down for the second wave.
Oh wow. We're about to experience a third wave down here.
Yeah, it's
In the
ska.
third ward?
Nah, we're in the fifth ward. We're in the fifth ward, near North. Come on, don't. We used to be in third ward, but then we moved. We're in the woods now.
Oh wow.
Now, actually, while we got you, Sean, I posed this question to Will, and I wanted to ask you. Comedy's becoming more and more digital, and with the pandemic, we've all been confined to our homes, and we're doing comedy online. We're recording stand-up on Zoom. What do you think the future of comedy is going to look like in a post COVID-19 world?
You see right under Will Abeles' name, there's an album cover. That's the future of comedy right there. There it is. Look at there it is.
Who did this illustration, Will? Because it is
who did it?
spot on.
It's amazing.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce Dan's last name, but I can send you his Instagram.
I'll just look for a Dan.
Incredible.
It is very nice. Big.
Let's just look up. Yeah, it was cool. Like I didn't know what I wanted. I knew I had a couple of ideas in my mind. Like I got really into Sturgill Simpson, and a couple of his album covers I was really into, and they're very just kind of this has nothing to do with the music, but it just feels right.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of gave him this idea where I was like, I'm going for this kind of folksy road, but still a little bit of New York, and I want it kind of cartoony. And then he sent me that, and I was like, God, nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, now I told my artist, this is how I want. This is how I want to look when I'm about to eat 10 hot dogs. And he nailed it, I think. I mean, that's exactly how I look before I'm about to eat 10 up at George's Coney Island in Worcester.
Oh man, it's great.
I want my child to see this album and fear me for the rest of his life.
Yes. Yes, this is the first step in fatherhood right now. Is that he's gonna sleep with. It's gonna be part of the little the thing that goes over the kid's head.
mobile.
What's that called?
Yeah, the mobile. Yeah.
Will, what's that called?
Mobile.
A mobile. Yes. Have that album cover on a mobile.
Now, we've talked about the future. Let's talk a little bit about the present. Economy's in shambles. People are really struggling to get by right now. Let's say I only have enough money for one album.
Don't do this, man.
Will, why should I buy your album as opposed to Sean? And then Sean will go to you.
I won't interrupt like the president. You can go first.
He already said I could go first. You're acting like he told me to go first.
And you interrupted him too.
Well, listen, Ned interrupts me. I interrupt Sean.
Right.
That's just how it goes. Well, what I was gonna say, but now Sean's looking at me and kind of making me nervous. But if you are strapped for cash at this moment, as so many of us are, tomorrow night on Zoom, Sean and I are doing a dual album release show through Dewey Comedy and Wooten Nanny. And you pay what you want, and you get a free copy of both Sean's and my album.
Ooh,
But do know that Sean is going to be a father soon, so don't be cheap for that child.
Gotcha. I see on that show there's Houston's own Victor Tran, also a friend of the show.
Nice.
Very, very cool. I'll be tuning into that. Sean, why should we buy your album?
Oh, because mine is infinitely better. It's very much funnier than Will's. It's in front of a live audience. It not on the computer. It's inventive. I spin a wheel, and you don't know what I'm gonna say next. I don't even know what I'm gonna say next.
Couldn't you just put the album on shuffle?
You could. It's the first shuffleable comedy album. Whereas somebody else's is a skippable comedy album.
I'm going to text Sean after this and be like, are you mad at me?
I love the idea of even like your opener, like you don't get to say, hi, I'm Sean Connolly until you spin the wheel on like introduction. Closer right at top.
Oh, man.
I was at Sean's first half of Sean's recording, and before it kicked off, I was thinking about, because Sean, so way we met was we were working at a summer camp together, and I had done stand up like twice, I think, and I'd heard there's a comedian counselor, and Sean like immediately runs up, like we're all like getting to know each other. He runs up and he like fake trips over a pole or something, and I was like, I'm not gonna be friends with this guy. Like, there's no way. But then Sean and I like ended up hanging out a bunch because we were the only two like just jacked jocks in the whole program. And then Sean saw my tape and was like, oh, you should try this again. So Sean brought me to Worcester and was like, you think you could do 20 minutes? And I was like, no problem, like not even a problem. But Sean got me going with all of it. So anyway, but I remember one of the first jokes he told, we were at Beatniks in Worcester. The first jokes he told that I heard, we were at Beatniks in Worcester, and it was about you, like how you walk downstairs. And I was thinking about that joke. I was like, man, I wonder if he still tells that joke. And I think that's how you started the whole recording, right? Wasn't that how the wheel went? And it hit that joke.
That was one of the first jokes. Yeah.
Man.
It was great.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So, guys, I am the reason we have the monster that is Will Abeles.
Well, hang on now, Sean. Will shared a nice memory about you. You need to share a nice memory about him.
Them's the rules.
Oh, you're right.
You
You're
have
right.
to have one.
Please,
I
Sean,
do.
remember.
I have one. It's not comedy related, but it's a thing I think about all the time about our friendship, Will.
Oh God.
Will and I coached the the soccer team for the camp we were on. By the way, this camp, it wasn't just a summer camp. It was like the rich kids camp. It is the 1% camp. Like Estee Lauder's heir was there, and like actors and hockey players, and like it was crazy. The kids and the money and the privilege and the whiteness was insane. But there was also a family from Spain. They were like the richest family in Spain. They were like the Kardashians of Spain. And Will and I were obsessed with them. And what was Juan was the older kid. Why can't I remember the little kid's name now?
Jaime.
Jaime was so good at soccer. We had him playing with, he was like 10. We had him playing with like 17-year-olds against other camps. Wow. But he was so good. But he would like try to bite kids. And we support it. We were like, yes, Jaime, that's how you're going to be the best. One day you're going to be playing for Inter Milan, and you're going to bring us to the game because you're so good and you remember that we let you bite kids in Maine. But we would play the game World Cup, where it's just corner kicks and you try to score, and you had to yell. But one of the rules was you had to yell at the country you are to earn the points in the game. And every single time Jaime would go, he would pick Spain, and right before he would go to score, he'd go, Spain. And then Will started picking Spain before Jaime, so he became Spain, and Jaime couldn't be Spain anymore. And Jaime would get so mad. And then Will, every time Will would score, he would yell out in a high-pitched voice, Spain! So Will torturing a 10-year-old, a very rich 10-year-old from Spain, was one of my favorite memories of him.
Listen, I was training him, all right? I was groomed to be his coach.
You referred to him as your son at one point during the summer.
He really was like my son. We used to get in fights. Like I was like, why have I had this fight before? And I was like, because I've had this fight with my dad. Like the thing about Jaime too was he understood English perfectly, but he only spoke a very small amount of it. So whenever he didn't feel like listening to me anymore, he just pretend like he didn't understand me, and just like just start ignoring me. But yeah, the kid, Jaime, a sweet boy.
Well, it's nice to know that y'all.
I wish we could remember his last name to see if he ever actually went pro.
I mean, can we look up pro soccer players named Jaime?
We could.
There's going to be a lot.
Or I'm sure there's like camp rosters online or something.
We could.
You know what? I have a special book with all my favorite kids in a book, and I'll go look it up real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Yes, just what the stream finally needed. Creepy kid name book.
On that, we're at the 50, so we should go ahead and go into the last segment of the show here. We're going to play a quick song real fast. I think y'all have heard it, and Will, I know you've heard it multiple times.
Yeah.
So let's play that plug song that we all know and love. Here we go. I want a new plug. Tell us what's going on. Tell us all the stuff you're doing
After he sings this song.
All right, boys, what do y'all have to plug?
Sean first.
Sean, what do you have to plug?
I've got this album that's out. It's called Hot Dog. It's really great. We also I'm doing a show with some other comics on Thursday. It's 8:00. It's pay what you want. You can leave a note when you leave how much money you want, and definitely say that the money goes to me.
All right, Sean, where can we find your album, and what about your social media?
You can find my album everywhere you stream, plus on Bandcamp. SeanConnolly.bandcamp.com. And on social media, I'm mainly on Instagram, and it's Sir Sean Connolly. I've been knighted.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're having a hell of a week, man.
I'm also on Vine at Sean Connolly. Check me out there. Honestly, I just want to plug this real quick. You got to be able to find it somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe Vine is completely done. I don't know. I used to, for a year and a half, I did a thing called the Daily Mookie, where my brother, that's his nickname, Mookie, and I every day would just go, "Welcome to Daily Mookie. Mookie, how you feeling today?" And most days he was absolutely miserable that I was talking to him on Vine.
That sounds great.
It's a good use of Vine.
It was great. It was so much fun. He hated it, and it lasted for way too long.
All right, Will, what do you have to plug?
Well, I got this album. It's actually my second album, which means I didn't have to wait 10 years to do 2 of them. I actually did 2 in half the amount of time that Sean did 1, and it doesn't sound like a shuffle iPod. But I got that album. So the album comes out Friday. I swear we're friends.
And what about your social media? Where can we find you?
Find me at Will Abels Comedy on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and just at Will Abels on Twitter. But I'm honestly probably gonna delete Twitter very soon. I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. But yeah, you can do that. And and the album's gonna be out on a wide release on Friday, so that's when it'll be on iTunes and Spotify and everything. And then you can go to Bandcamp and grab it there if you care about supporting artists.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so I can just donate it to.
If I'm not mistaken, Friday night is Bandcamp's free day, so you guys get 100% of your proceeds rather than that Bandcamp cut.
Nice.
Next Friday.
Next Friday the 6th? Yep, whoops.
All right, well, next Friday.
First Friday of the month. Yeah, I thought it was every Friday, so I was plugging it. And then...
Well, yeah.
Audience, I know this is a very Ruben Studdard, Clay Aiken decision, but know that we're both great and we'll both fall into obscurity very soon.
You can go to willabelscomedy.bandcamp.com to find Will Abels' new album, The Pride of Hagerstown, The Tall Tales and Tragic Truth of Will Abels. I've checked it out in my car. It's very, very funny. And Sean, I am very, very excited to listen to yours, but knowing you, I'm sure it's going to be fucking hilarious.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
All right, I don't have anything to plug. Ned.
Honey, I Shrunk the Binge is back, you fuckers. This podcast will be every Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. coming out with new exciting episodes that we recorded recently or at the beginning of the year and just didn't tell anyone about. So check those out, honeyishrunkthebinge.com.
All right. Well, that's our show. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Hooray!
Hooray.